Yes, all of you students, can you hear me? All of you are able to hear me, students?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let us start with the lecture. Just a second. Yes, see, we will start with some basic. Okay, and what are some basic points which are required for IC engine? Okay, which will be required ahead also. So, see, this is a small diagram I have shown. With the help of this small diagram, you will get to know what is the powers. Okay, see, this is just a with the help of a diagram I'm trying to show you. See, when the fuel burning is taking place, okay, in an engine. So, what is happening is that there is a energy produced because of the burning of fuel. Okay, I am talking about the heat energy produced. Okay, so this is denoted here. Okay, fuel energy here. Okay, this is the fuel energy. So, what is happening? See, what is happening? If this I consider it as the fuel energy, this much. Okay, this much is the fuel energy. Okay, if it is having some value. Okay, if this heat, okay, is lost, some of this heat is lost in coolant. Okay, in coolant. Why coolant? Why coolant? Because the, as you know, there are engine walls, and there that engine walls are cooled by the coolant. Okay, the coolants are cooling it continuously, therefore it is taking some amount of heat from the system. Okay, it is taking some amount of heat from the system, and therefore some energy is lost. Okay, and some energy is lost to the coolant, and also radiation is there. Of course, you know, the heat which is produced, it is heating all the parts of the combustion chamber. Okay, the the camshaft is getting heated, the crankshaft is getting heated, and all. So you have to, just a second. Yes, students, see here now. This is the fuel energy. Okay, I'm just considering it as some value. Huh? Just to explain you, this diagram is being made. So this is the fuel energy. Okay, so that total fuel energy which is there in the fuel because of complete burning of some fuel. Okay, that energy is lost in exhaust. Okay, it is lost in exhaust gases also. Okay, exhaust gases are taking much amount of heat. Okay, you can see the exhaust gases which are coming outside the engine. Okay, outside the engine it is having so much amount of heat, you cannot touch the exhaust pipe also. Okay, the bare hands. So there is so much amount of heat which is lost in exhaust, there is so much amount of heat which is lost in coolants, so much amount of heat which is lost in radiations also, and some more things are also there. Okay, somewhere or some or the other way the heat is lost. So therefore, the power or the energy which is left, okay, energy which is left to push the piston down is the indicated power, okay, is the indicated power which is shown by IP. So what is the indicated power? Which is the power available at the piston, okay. Just keep in mind the power which is available at the piston is the indicated power, okay. The power which is available at the piston is the indicated power. See, it is shown here, okay. Indicated power, it is shown by this block, okay. It is shown by here, by this block, okay. See, this is the only block which is shown, okay. This is your indicated power, okay. So this much of energy here shown at this point, this much of energy is lost in your exhaust, coolant and radiation. See, such a huge amount of energy is lost in your exhaust, coolant and radiation, and very less amount of heat is available. Yes, all of you can hear me properly now, students. Just reply to me. Can all of you hear to me? Yes, everyone. Please reply. Okay. So see now, I will try to speak little loudly. See, there might be some connection problem. Okay, if you are not hearing the voice, uh, some of them are getting the problem. So just try to be in the range. Okay, so see here, indicated power. Okay, indicated power is the power available at the piston. Okay, the power with the energy by which the piston is pushed down. Okay, piston is pushed down is the indicated power. But now see, there is loss in the indicated power also. Okay, there is a loss in the from the indicated power to the brake power. What is brake power? See, what is brake power? Brake power is the power which is available at the crankshaft. Okay, brake power is the power which is available at the crankshaft. So the power which is available at the crankshaft, you can say, or the flywheel, you can say, it is the power which is, you know, having some lost as compared to the indicated power. Okay, this brake power, if you compare it with the indicated power also, there is a difference, and that difference is your energy lost in friction. See, it is shown here, energy lost in friction. So this energy is lost in friction because of the friction between the piston and the cylinder. The main energy lost is the piston and the cylinder. So though there is lubrication, there is a lot of amount of friction available. Because of that, the engine body gets heated up. Okay, there is a friction between the connecting rod and the piston. There is a friction between the connecting rod and the crankshaft, which is connected by journal bearings and all. So there is huge amount of loss. Okay, there is huge amount of loss, energy lost in friction, and therefore the power which is available at brake at the uh, crankshaft is very less. See here, it is just this much as compared to the fuel energy, okay, which is shown here. Fuel energy which is shown here, as compared to this, the brake power available is very less. Okay, the brake power available is very less. So that is why, you know, some of the experts, they also say like that कि, the, you know, ये engine जो design किया गया है, okay, engine जो design किया गया है internal combustion engine, this engine is the worst engine ever designed. Okay, it's the worst engine ever designed. So see, if you compare with the indicated power and the brake power also, then there is about 30-40% difference in that also. Okay, getting all of you students, and the, you know, mechanical efficiency of the engine is taken from this brake power and indicated powers only. Okay, so what is brake power? So in a very simple language, I should tell you that brake power is 2 pi nt upon 16 to 1000. That is the brake power available at the crankshaft, okay, or the flywheel, you can say. That is the brake power, 2 pi nt upon 16 to 1000. That is where n is the rpm and t is the torque in Newton meter. Okay, so this is your brake power in kilowatts. Brake power in kilowatts, because you are dividing it by 1000 here. Okay, because you are dividing it by 1000, the answer you are getting is in kilowatts. Okay, and because you are dividing it by 60 here, okay, you are dividing it by 60. N is in rpm, rotations per minute. Okay, n is rpm, you are converting it in rotations per second by dividing it by 60 here. So that is why you are getting the answer in kilojoules per second. Okay, kilojoule per second. 1 kilojoule per second is 1 watt. All of you might be knowing this. Okay, 1 kilojoule per second. 1 kilojoule per second is how much? 1 kilojoule per second is equal to 1 kilowatt. Okay, 1 kilojoule per second is 1 kilowatt. Okay, all of you should know this. And when I say about power, when I say about brake power or indicated power, I will denote it by in kilowatt. So what is 1 kilowatt? 1 kilowatt is the energy, okay, which is in kilowatts or 1 kilojoule per second. Okay, students. So let us move ahead now. See, I will show you some other things. Simple things. See, when I talk about the mechanical efficiency, okay, all of you can see this, students. What is mechanical efficiency? Mechanical efficiency is, it is the ratio of brake power to the indicated power. What is mechanical efficiency? It is the ratio of the brake power upon indicated power. This comes, you know, around you can say 50%, 40%, 30%. Okay, it is always, you know, around less than 50%. Okay, for an engine, okay, which is running, it is less than 50% mainly. Okay, less than 50%, because huge amount of loss is there inside the combustion chamber due to friction. Okay, huge amount of loss. Okay, so therefore what is happening is mechanical efficiency of the engine is little bit less. Okay, so see, there can be in some engine, if there is a good engine, it can be more than 50% also. It is not necessary it should be less than 50%, but many a times it comes around 50% only. So you can you know, keep in mind that so much amount of heat or so much amount of energy is lost in your friction. Okay, it can come up to 70% also. Okay, but there is so much amount of loss. Okay, I am just talking about the brake power and indicated power here. If I talk about mechanical efficiency of the engine, it is taken in terms of brake power and indicated power only. The fuel energy is not taken here. Okay, the fuel energy is not taken here, as I have shown you in the diagram. Okay, I have shown you in the diagram that the indicated power, okay, it is the power which is available at the piston, okay, available at the piston, okay, when the energy is lost, okay, in exhaust, coolant and all. So therefore, yes, anybody wants to tell anything, they can just chat with me. Huh? Don't disturb me, don't raise your hands unnecessarily. Just ping me if you want. If there is a doubt, anything, you can just ping me. Yes, we will discuss small things now. See, brake power is indicated power minus friction power. See now, as I have told you, if there is some difference, okay, in the brake power and indicated power, that is due to the friction. Okay, so when I am talking about brake power and indicated power, it is the difference is the friction power. Okay, so which will be more? Which will be more? Whether indicated power will be more or friction power will be more? Students, can you reply? Indicated power will be more, of course, isn't it? Because indicated power minus this friction power is the brake power. Okay, so always in any case, okay, the indicated power will be more as compared to the brake power. Okay, let us move ahead. See, you can take a book and pen, and then you can start noting it also. Okay, you might be taking it for some other subjects also now, like heat transfer and all. So you can take a book and pen, and you can start noting these formulas also. We are going to solve some sums also on this, all these formulas. Okay, so therefore you should note it. What are the important formulas? You can draw this diagram also, keeping in mind. I will send you the lecture recording, okay, also. But meanwhile, you can also do it, because you know your time will not get wasted. You have to utilize the whole time. Then you have to keep a book and pen with you. Okay, be active in the lecture. Okay. So see, mechanical efficiency, brake power upon indicated power, and if I tell about brake power, indicated power, brake power is equal to indicated power minus friction power. Okay. See what I have written: in IC engines, air and fuel is supplied and burned in the cylinder, converting its chemical energy into heat. Okay, chemical energy is converted into heat. Now the total heat generated cannot be converted into work, and part of that is lost to the exhaust coolant and lost due to radiation and connection. The remaining part of the energy is used to push the piston, and that work is known as indicated power. Okay, that is the energy which is used to push the piston is known as the indicated power, and some part of this indicated power is lost in friction between the cylinder and piston, as well as in the bearing. Therefore, the power available at crankshaft is the brake power. Okay. Some other things we will discuss. Okay, some other terms of the internal combustion engine. See, I have discussed with you what is clearance volume. All of you know clearance volume, stroke volume. The volume contained in the cylinder above the piston from its top dead center to the cylinder body is called clearance volume. All of you know that, BC. Okay. Stroke volume, there is a specific formula. All of you know stroke volume is Vs is equal to pi by 4 d square into L. Okay. Pi by 4 d square into L, where d is the diameter of piston and L is the length of the piston. Okay. So all of you know how to calculate a volume of a cylinder. Okay, it is the volume of a cylinder. You have studied it in your school section. Okay, so you can remember it very easily. You don't need to just mug it up. Okay, you just have to know how this formula is coming. You know, area of a circle is pi by 4 d square. Okay, area of a circle is pi by 4 d square. That multiplied by the length of the cylinder L will give you the volume. Okay, see this L is actually length of the piston, which is written here. L is length of the piston, and that is actually equal to the length of the cylinder. Okay, that is also equal to the length of the cylinder. Okay, stroke volume, stroke length. Okay, stroke length is equal to the length of the piston in many of the case, and but D is not equal to L here. Okay, in many of the case D is equal to L. D can be greater than L. D can be less than L also. Okay, D can be less than L also. Okay, but a length of the piston, okay, length of the piston, it is also equal to the stroke length. Okay, length of the piston is also equal to the stroke length. Okay, now see, compression ratio I have shown you. I have explained it to you earlier. Compression ratio is swept volume, that is pi by 4 d square L plus clearance volume, the whole upon clearance volume. Okay, the ratio of the total cylinder volume to the clearance volume is called the compression ratio of the engine. Okay, so this I have explained to you. Then some other terms I would like to explain it to you one by one. Yes, see, air fuel ratio. What is air fuel ratio? Air fuel ratio is the ratio of mass of air upon fuel. Okay, mass of air upon mass of fuel. Okay, air fuel ratio here. See, air fuel ratio. The relative proportions of air and fuel in an engine are very important from the point of view of combustion and engine efficiency. Okay, what is the percentage of air you are taking? What is the percentage of fuel you are taking? Okay, this air fuel ratio is very important when you are analyzing your engine, when you are calculating engine efficiency. Okay, So that is why air fuel ratio, you have to know what is the air fuel ratio of your which you are taking inside the combustion chamber. Okay, see, this is changing, this ratio is also changing. Okay, in case of SI engines, okay, in case of SI engine, that is a petrol engines, where you are taking a homogeneous mixture. Okay, homogeneous mixture for SI engines we are telling, because the air and fuel are properly mixed and then it is coming inside the combustion chamber for SI engines. But for CI engines, what is happening? It is called as heterogeneous mixture, because the air and fuel are not mixed properly, but it is allowed to mix inside the combustion chamber. Okay, where it is very less time is available for its mixing. Okay, before it gets mixed up, it is properly mixed up. It is getting burned. So that is why in CI engines, okay, that is your diesel engines, it is the mixture of air and fuel are called as heterogeneous mixture. Okay, the mixture is not that proper, but in SI engine it is called as homogeneous mixture. So what it is there, see, the air fuel ratio is remaining constant for a wide range. Okay, यानी कि कोई भी load conditions में, wide range of operation में, SI engines में, okay, it is air fuel ratio is almost constant. Okay, almost constant. Okay, not every time it is constant, it is changing. Okay, but for a wide range of operation, wide range of operations means what? When you are keeping your vehicle idle, okay, or when you are speeding it, so that is another range of operation. Or when you are at the first gear, when you are at the second gear, okay, or when you are stopping the vehicle, okay, you are not putting it in the gear, first gear or second gear, but you are keeping the engine on, your engine is on, your vehicle is on, but you are not taking the power. So what should be the air fuel ratio at that time? All these things are decided by the ECUs also, if that is a electronically operated engine, or else the carburetor also takes care of this thing. Okay, so for SI engines, it remains almost constant for a wide range of operation, but for CI engines, okay, for CI engines, okay, it varies. It varies a lot. Okay, it varies a lot. So mass of air remains same. See, mass of air which is coming inside is remaining same for a CI engine. Same amount of air is coming in most of the cases, and it is compressed. But the mass of fuel is changing. See, how much fuel you are putting inside the combustion chamber will decide how much power you want. So in idling condition, you don't require much power. But when you are starting the engine, okay, you require more fuel, because you are starting the engine from rest. So you have to change its inertia. Okay, so you require more fuel. So more amount of fuel is inserted inside the engine. Okay, so this mass of fuel, this air fuel ratio changes according to the conditions. Okay, it is changing according to the conditions at which load conditions you are. Okay, whether you are speeding the engine, whether you are stopping it, okay, whether you are on first gear, second gear, okay, whether you are accelerating, whether you are decelerating. So all these changes takes place. Okay, yes, any doubt till now? Students, any doubt till now? Yes, all of you are able to hear me at least. Yes, students, all of you are able to hear me. Just message me. Yes, okay. So, any doubt till now? No, no doubts now. Let us move ahead. Let us move ahead. See, we have a lot of portion to be covered. So, I am trying to explain you. The important concepts. Okay, calorific value, all of you know what is calorific value of fuel. Okay, the amount, you can just note down all these things. Calorific value of fuel, this is the amount of heat energy released. This is the amount of heat energy released by complete combustion of 1 kg of fuel whether it is petrol or whether it is diesel, it doesn't make any difference, or whether it is a gas, okay, whether it is a LPG, whether it is a CNG, it doesn't make any difference. Calorific value of fuel, okay, this is the amount of heat energy released by complete combustion of 1 kg of fuel when products are cooled back to its initial temperature of mixture of fuel and air. Okay, see, this is the total energy which can be taken from a fuel. Okay, so can anyone tell me what is the unit of calorific value? Calorific value, anyone can tell me? Yes, anyone can message? Yes, students. Kilojoules per kg. Yes, very good. Kilojoules per kg. It is not just kilojoules, it is kilojoules per kg. Okay. How much amount of heat is given by burning 1 kg of fuel, okay, in the presence of oxygen. Okay, in the presence of oxygen. Okay. See the calorific value of petrol, okay, it is slightly high, okay, and the calorific value of fuel, okay, you can say of diesel is it is around 46,000, okay, it is around 46,000 kilojoule per second, or and petrol it is around 42,000 kilojoules per kg. Okay, so this all these things will be required. Okay, all these things will be required for your calculations and to solve the sums and all. Okay, so just keep in mind there is some difference in the calorific value of diesel and petrol also. Okay, diesel it is around roughly around 45 or 46,000 kilojoules per kg. Okay, and for petrol we generally take it as 42,000 kilojoules per kg. So whatever is given in the question, you can take it accordingly, or else you can also take according it as a direct value. You have to remember it and you have to take it as a direct value. Okay, students. So this is your calorific value of the fuel. Okay. Next thing, I've explained you air fuel ratio. Okay. I've explained you what is mechanical efficiencies. Yes. See, this is very important. Thermal efficiency. See, when I talk about thermal efficiencies, just keep in mind the thermal energy is taken into account. But when I'm talking about only mechanical efficiency, okay, there is no thermal energies taken into account. It is just the ratio of brake power upon indicated power. Okay, it is just the ratio of the brake power upon indicated power. But when I'm talking about thermal efficiencies, the heat is taken into account. Okay, so you have to keep in mind the efficiencies are divided. Okay, when you talk about the efficiency of an engine, they generally they don't tell you about the thermal efficiencies, because thermal efficiencies is very less. Okay, thermal efficiencies of engine, okay, it is very less. This cannot be more than 50%. Thermal efficiency, at least it cannot be more than 50% for any engine. Any engine I'm talking about. Okay, it is very very less. Okay, so when you get the specifications of a car or a car engine, they generally tell about the mechanical efficiency, so that the customers are attracted. Okay, so, they will think, yes, the efficiency is good, it is a very good engine, but they will not talk about thermal efficiencies at least, because thermal efficiencies are less because lot of heat is lost. Okay, thermal efficiencies, okay, it is less than 40, less than 30. Yes, it cannot be 50% also. Okay, so let us see now what is thermal efficiency. Okay, indicated thermal efficiency, when I talk about indicated thermal efficiency, this is a ratio of energy in the indicated power to the energy supplied by the fuel. So the total energy which is supplied by the fuel, okay, that is taken in the denominator, okay, and the energy which is there in the indicated power, that is in the numerator, okay, it is denoted by in eta it, okay, eta it, you can see it here, okay, or eta ith also you can tell it as, okay, or you can also tell it as eta ith, okay, indicated thermal efficiency, whatever you want, it is right, okay. So indicated thermal efficiency here, okay, it is equal to energy in indicated power, okay, energy in the indicated power per second. In terms of per second, I am taking an energy supplied by the fuel per second, okay. Indicated power, all of you know indicated power, I am taking it in terms of kilojoules per second, okay. Kilojoules, I said all of you, 1 kilojoule per second is called as 1 kilojoule per second is called as 1 kilowatt, okay. 1 kilojoule per second is called as 1 kilowatt. So energy indicated power per second is kilojoules per second, and m dot f into cv is also kilojoules per second. So both the numerator and denominator, the unit should be same when calculating the efficiency, okay. So this is also in terms of kilojoules per second, okay. You are getting it in kilojoules per second only. See, calorific value, all of you know, calorific value is kilojoules per kg, okay. Calorific value is kilojoules per kg, this, okay, this is kilojoules per kg, and m dot f is mass, that is kg per second, okay. So when you take this, okay, when you multiply both of this, you will get the answer in kilojoules per second only, okay, which is this, okay. So the denominator is also in kilojoules per second and the numerator is also in kilojoules per second. So therefore you will get the indicated thermal efficiency here. Hope all of you are getting this. Let us move ahead now. All of you are noting this, I hope. We will see what is brake thermal efficiency now, okay. All of you know brake power is equal to indicated power minus friction power, okay. I have explained it to you. So brake thermal efficiency is brake power upon m dot f into cv. Brake thermal efficiency is brake power upon m dot f into cv. See, f is nothing but, this is nothing but mass of fuel, m dot f. I'm talking about m dot f, okay. There is a dot here, so m dot f, actually m dot f, okay. If I tell about m dot f, f is in suffix, okay. M dot f, it is denoting the mass of fuel supplied per second. So mass of fuel supplied per second, the unit will be what? Kg, okay, kg per second. M dot f is equal to kg per second, okay. So that is the mass of fuel into calorific value. Calorific value, all of you know what is the unit of calorific value. Calorific value unit, all of you note down, kilojoules per kg, okay. It is kilojoules per kg, okay, kilojoules per kg. So what you are getting when you are multiplying this m dot f by kilojoules per kg, what you are getting? Kilojoules per second. See, this kg and the upper one is getting cut, okay. So that is why you are getting the unit of m dot f into cv as kilojoules per second. So brake power is in watts, that is also kilojoules per second, okay. You can take it in joules per second also. So in denominator also you have to take in joules per second. Both the denominator and numerator should have the same value, okay. So this is brake thermal efficiency. Brake thermal efficiency means brake power upon heat supplied, and indicated thermal efficiency means indicated power upon heat supplied, okay. Let us move ahead now. I have done with the mechanical efficiency. Okay, I have done all these things. Let us move ahead. We will see another thing. What is volumetric efficiency? Okay, I have shown you what is calorific value. We will see what is volumetric efficiency. See, volumetric efficiency. Okay, this is my volumetric efficiency. The engine output depends upon the amount of maximum air taken in during suction. Okay, during suction stroke. Okay, so or you can say in this is for both your diesel engine and petrol engine also. Okay, the engine output is depending if you take in terms of volumetric efficiency. Okay, so volumetric efficiency is just the measure of the amount of air. Okay, which is taken inside. If you are taking about maximum amount of air inside, then the volumetric efficiency will be more. Okay, it is just taking into account your mass of air which is taken in per stroke and upon mass of swept volume. Okay, the engine output depends upon the amount of maximum air taken in during suction stroke, because the amount of fuel burn depends upon the amount of air available. Okay, so if you want to burn the fuel properly, okay, you require more amount of oxygen. Okay, that is why the more amount of oxygen if you require, that is why you require more amount of air. Okay, so therefore volumetric efficiency is